Good morning, grade 10s, and welcome to lesson 16, chapter 17 on finders keepers. But before I start with that, I need to talk to you about that which you delivered and collected at the gate on Wednesday. Now, you should most definitely have handed in your dialogue for assessment at the gate on Wednesday, the 17th, that's the one that's just passed now, and I only wanted the dialogue because that's all I'm going to mark for assessment. So it was the dialogue between you and somebody else that has also been bullied by Cindy. All right, then let's move on now to that which you picked up at the gate on Wednesday. And it's a page that's printed like that on the one side and this on the other side, a little letter. So I'm going to read the little letter to you. Please follow carefully. It says, "Good morning, grade 10 English learner. Week 2, 17th of June. I trust that you have already handed your dialogue in at the gate. Please find in this pack, number 1, language study, units 1 to 8, verbs and adverbs. You do not have to do this work in your language book. Fill in the answers on the question paper in the spaces provided." I'm getting old, grade 10s? All right, now, and this is so important, this work will not be handed in at the gate. You will need to bring it when you come back to school. But obviously, now listen, grade 10s, listen. Obviously, I do not expect you to be finished with this pack by the 6th of July. Do as much as you can. Now, please don't phone and ask questions and be hysterical. Do we have to finish all these units on language study? No. Do what you can, and you don't. If you finish, then you're working too hard. Don't work so hard. All right, then number 2, this is the big one. Assignment instruction 2. Please find the assignment in this pack. You will have to hand it in at the gate on Wednesday, the 24th of June, 2020. Please read the instructions carefully. Use the pack of notes you received last week to help you with some of the answers. Please do not hand anything else in except this assignment that will be assessed for marks. And then I tell you to stay warm, and I hope you are, and I hope you're staying safe. Right, let's have a look at this assignment that you got. Yours looks like this, but I'm going to be reading just this page from here. It says, School Oosterlig, grade 10 English, term 2 assignment, instruction 2, marks 35, finders keepers, Rosamond Hayden, due date at the gate. Due date at the gate. I'm a poet. Wednesday, the 24th of June. Let's look at the instructions. Answer all the questions on a neat piece of A4 paper. Remember your name. Oh, grade 10s, how can you be handing in work without your name on? Come on, man. Write the date and the name of your English teacher too. Please number your answers according to the questions on this question paper. Use the mark allocation as a... Come on, finish it. Let me hear you. There we go. Use the mark allocation as a guide to the length of your answers. You will know the answers if you have watched the videos and read through the pack of notes you received last week. While I'm talking about the pack of notes you received last week, grade 10s, it looked like a lot. But if you looked at it, you would have seen it was just a repeat of everything that you've had to do since the 1st of April. So there was no new work there. You don't have to panic that you're not keeping up, because you are. You've been working systematically since the 1st of April. If you haven't, then you've got a problem. But, then it's not my problem, because you should have been working. All right, let's look at what you have to do. On a piece of A4 paper, lined paper, your name, the date, like the normal. Then, question 1, it will say, Rewrite the paragraph below, filling in the missing words. Underline the words that you have filled in. The novel is set in what? South Africa, with its poverty. I've told you this 100 times. Read the front page of that pack and you'll find all the answers are right there. South Africa with its poverty, unemployment, and what unrest. The teenagers in the novel also have to face the conflict between traditional and the often corrupting influence of 1.4 and technology. For a 5th mark in question 1, who is the author of the novel? All this information is in the big pack that you got at the gate last week. Right, then, question 2, now remember yours looks like this, so yours just goes on after reading that there, yours will be here. Question 2, draw your own accurate map of South Africa. That could be interesting. Clearly indicate the 4 provinces that are discussed in the novel. Now really, grade 10s, I have shown you this on the video over and over. Listen to the announcement. See, now you've also been back at school and you've listened to one of the announcements. All right, so now question 2, I've asked you to draw your own accurate map of South Africa, and you clearly indicate the 4 provinces that are discussed in the novel. Grade 10s, remember how many times I showed you this picture? If you don't know, then you haven't watched my videos. That's as simple as that. Question 3, the narrator. Explain and discuss the 2 different narration techniques used in this novel. Again, if you haven't watched the videos, well, dan kry ek jou jammer, because I've been telling you, 1st person narrator, I, me, mine, Lufuno. 3rd person narration, he and his, Mandla. You've seen all these things 100 times on the video. These are seriously Mickey Mouse little questions that you'll be able to answer. And also all this information is in the pack as well. So there's 2 places that you can get this info from. Question 4, for 8 marks. Vendor culture and traditions. Explain and discuss why the vendor traditions are so important to Lufuno. Now, you're going to have to use a little bit of insight. We know her granny comes from there, her mother and father come from there. And we know you could even mention something about the bracelet here, how the bracelet is part of that tradition. In your own words and using your information pack as a guide, discuss any 5 aspects of the vendor culture. Please don't discuss Zulu culture with me. I need vendor, hey? Right, all in the pack I gave you. Question 5. In your own words, explain why Mandla does not like his father. So you're going to have to find out why, and we read about that in chapter 16, hey? Question 6, give a short character description of Dudu. Do you like her? Explain your answer. What happened to Dudu? So that is all a character sketch on Dudu. And then now I've called it question 1. What rubbish, Mr. Herron. It's question 7. How silly am I? For 4 marks. Discuss and compare the physical conditions between Victory High and Hoërskool Oosterlig. And I'm not going to guide you there. I'm going to leave you there for that last question. I need your opinion. I want you to tell me what you have experienced while reading the novel, what the differences are between Hoërskool Oosterlig and Victory High. All right, I'm now going to start with chapter 7. I hope that I'll be finished with it within our 25 minutes. So I'm going to read. Please follow carefully. We know that Lufuno has been out all night with Mandla, and we've also found out now what Mandla's story is concerning his sister, Nandi, and we now know more about Dudu. So she tiptoes across the room and crawls into bed next to Chalitsi. And now we start with chapter 17. 2 packets of chips and 2 fizzes. Chalitsi is demanding her price for silence about last night. When she woke up, she saw Mandla's jacket before I could hide it and guessed the truth. I'm happy to pay her anything. So now we know that little Chalitsi has picked up that Mandla and Lufuna were together, and now she bribes her sister and she says, buy me 2 packets of chips and 2 fizzes. But Lufuna says she's happy to pay her anything just to get her to shut up. I cannot bear for my parents to feel that I've betrayed them again. I know I broke their rules, but surely it can't be wrong. What happened last night with Mandla set me free, and this morning I feel like I can breathe again. I woke up happier than I have since Dudu died, and closer to someone than I've been for a long time. Does that mean I'm terribly selfish? When Ma and Chalitsi go to church, I stay home to be with my father. The wound on his leg is oozing and swollen. When my mother comes home with Chalitsi, she's very worried about him. It's getting infected, she says, and he has a fever. We must take him to the hospital today. But Sundays are not good days for hospitals, Baba says. Tomorrow you will feel worse, my mother says. We will go and just wait in the queue. She looks at the 2 of us. Lufuno, you can come and help me. Chalitsi, we will ask Mrs. Yankees to look after you. Chalitsi starts to protest, but one look at my mother's worried face quietens her. You will be bored in the hospital queue, my mother says to her, and we'll bring you something nice. My sister looks at me smugly. At this rate, she's going to have enough chips and sweets to last her for weeks. Mrs. Yankee grudgingly, so she's not really happy, Mrs. Yankee grudgingly agrees to let Chalitsi stay with her in the house while we go. We leave her watching TV. There are few taxis on Sundays, but the taxi driver who stops is kind, not shouting at us for how long it takes for my father to get in. The hospital queues are long, but I tried to be kind and helpful to make up for last night, even though my parents know nothing about it. Eventually, the doctor sees my father. He needs antibiotics in a drip, and they admit him for the night. In the early morning, my mother and I leave to come home. We are walking back from the taxi rank when we begin to smell the smoke. And then as we turn into our road, we see it. Not just smoke, but flames, twisting and leaping into the dusk near our house, and we start to run. The wind blows the flames higher and higher into the evening sky. My lungs are raw when I run into the yard, but I shout through the smoke, Chalitsi! Chalitsi! I can see Ricardo with a bucket pouring water on the embers of our home. The flames have left it and are hungrily swallowing the shack in the yard next door. A group of men are beating the flames. Chalitsi! My mother is shouting, her voice urgent. Where is she? And then we see Mrs. Yankees in her doorway, holding my sister's hand. Her solid brick house is safe. The wind from the southeast is blowing the fire away from it. Chalitsi runs up to us, crying hysterically. My mother and I embrace her in turn. Then together we walk to the charred remains of our house, hoping to salvage anything that has survived the fire. But the smoke is overpowering and we retreat. This is because of you, Mrs. Yankee says. I told you there'd be trouble. Her voice is shaky as she wipes ash off her face. Thank you for looking after my daughter, my mother says, hoarsely as she grips Mrs. Yankee's arm. Mrs. Yankees looks down and mumbles something. What happened? I asked Chalitsi. I'd gone to fetch something from the house, she says, one eye on my mother. You were at home? My mother looks at Mrs. Yankees. I just went to fetch something, my sister repeats. I know that she's lying. She must have got bored at Mrs. Yankees and gone home to wait for us. And then something like a burning ball. Okay, grade 10s, pretend that you've got a double lesson, so you're not going anywhere. I know that she's lying. She must have got bored at Mrs. Yankees and gone home to wait for us. And then something like a burning ball came through the window. It was so quick. The curtains, then everything was burning. Yeah, you were so long. Why did it take so long? She gives a hiccup. I was frightened. I didn't know what to do. I tried to get water to put it out, and I looked for a jug, but it was getting so smoky I couldn't see. I couldn't even see to get out, and then when I thought I was going to die, a man came in and pulled my hand. He told me to come outside quickly. Was it Ricardo? Mrs. Jantjies asks. No, says Julitsi. I don't think so. He's gone now. I couldn't see him properly through the smoke. I think he went off with the other men to fight more fires. And then I came straight back here. All around us, there's ash spinning in the hot air as Ricardo and now Anthony too pour water over the dying embers of our shack. It hisses as it lands on what remains of our possessions. I can see my school bag and I move forward to get it, but my mother holds me back. You'll get burnt. Leave it. Ricardo has managed to salvage Julitsi's bag, but it has been singed. The two-plate stove is a melted mass of plastic and steel. Here and there are little heaps of scorched fabric, still smoking. I recognize the tablecloth and the print of some of my clothes. At the sound of a high-pitched whistle, I look up. Across the road, through the smoke, I see Dube. He's just standing there watching. I wonder where his crew are now. I'm sure that they did this. Why does he stay to watch now when his friends are gone? I turn my back on him. My mother's face is blank. My cell phone's dead, she says. I don't know where we can go. And I realize in that moment that we are homeless. We have nothing left. I feel as if I'm spinning and falling like hot ash. You will have to find some way, Mrs. Jantjies says. I can't sleep here tonight. The smoke will poison my lungs. I will have to go to my brother's house. She looks at us. I agree. I regret the day I let you stay. And she turns and walks to find her son Anthony, who is standing in the road next to Ricardo's car. They both get in without looking at us, and Anthony drives off. Only Ricardo stays to fight the last of the flames before joining the men fighting the fires further down the street. I'm numb. As I scroll through the numbers on my phone, who can help me? My eyes are scratchy now and I can hardly see the screen. Mandla. I'll phone Mandla. I'll dial his number and I'll wait. It rings and there's no reply. I send an SMS instead. Mandla, come quickly, we need help. I wait a while, but no SMS comes back. Mandla's silence makes me feel like last night never happened. I scroll down to Nortjie's number and press the call button. At last she answers. Hearing her friendly voice makes me want to cry. She says we must go there, that her father has agreed that we can stay in their yard for that night. They have an outside room and spare bedding. Won't you be scared to give us shelter after what happened? I ask her. My father said it is terrible to burn down houses. He says he needs to show how proper people behave. There's a pause. Really? I ask. But we're desperate. And I'm frightened of putting others in danger too. He says the union is about improving people's lives, not destroying them. So come, Lefunu, please come. Just let my father talk to your mother first. He says he has something important to tell her. I hand the phone to my mother, and after a long silence, I hear her saying, Yes? Yes, I understand. Okay. We'll get ready to leave in the morning. Oh, thank you for arranging everything. You're very kind. We will come to you now. Nortjie's father is worried about our safety and says that a taxi will come for us early in the morning to take us to his brother's house near my school. We can stay there until we find a new home. We must be ready by 5 o'clock in the morning. We gather up as much as we have been able to rescue from the ashes, and we walk slowly to Nortjie's house. Her father and mother invite us into their home for a supper of samp and beans, and my mother thanks them for their generosity of spirit. People must look out for each other, Nortjie's mother says. One day, if we're in trouble, you'll look after for us. They bring us bedding and make sure that we are comfortable in their outside room. Only then does my mother phone my father to tell him what has happened and that we are safe. I can hear her speaking to him in a low voice, convincing him not to leave the hospital, not to be stupid, and to stay until the following afternoon when she will come for him. When the phone call is done, she blows out the paraffin lamp. We lie in the dark, unable to fall asleep, still on guard. Only Chalitsi is sleeping, worn out by the events of the day. She's snoring gently. I stroke her hair. She annoys me, but I love her so much, and I'm so grateful that she's safe. I close my eyes and start to drift off. I'm falling, spinning again, and then I feel as if somebody is holding me. It's Mandla. Now remember, she's dreaming this, grade 10s. Mandla, I haven't spoken to him all day, but I recall how it felt to be safe in his arms, and my heart beats faster when I think of when he kisses me. I realize with a shock that he still has my bracelet after all these days. I turn over and fall into a restless sleep. It sounds like Dudu's calling me, and I wake up sitting bolt upright. Again, she's dreaming. My mother wakes too. She sees I'm shaking, and she puts her arms around me and rocks me like I'm a little girl. "Oh, Lefuno," she says, "we will be all right, you'll see. Were you dreaming about the fire?" "No," I shake my head. "I was dreaming about Dudu." I worry about the way you pretend that Dudu is still alive. She's gone, Lefuno. I know her memory is still in your heart, but she's not coming back. Not now, not ever. I let her speak, and then I say quietly, "I know, Ma." I hesitate. I have to let her know about Mandla. I won't let her keep us apart when I know in my heart that he is good for me. "It's different now, Ma. Something has changed." I start tentatively. "Time is starting to mend the wound." "Yes, Ma, and I found someone special." I feel her eyes in the dark, suspicious now. "The boy who brought you home, the boy whose father was so rude." I know she's worried for me, but I won't give up Mandla. My silence is answer enough for her. Grade 10s, I'm going to stop there now because our time together is almost done. I'm going to ask you please to stay up to date with answering the questions that I've sent to you in the pack. But remember, you can do them on the page. And try your best. Don't get upset if you're not coping. Just do a little bit every day and you're going to be okay. All right, so grade 10s, until we meet again, I don't know where and I don't know when, but I'm sure we'll meet again. Hopefully it'll be sunny because right now it's freezing. Special day. Good morning and thank you, everybody.